welcome back to the Barnsey podcast, episode number 17.
Yo, how's things?
It's been a while. We've got a guest in the house. Jezza back.
Welcome.
Another serve.
Thanks, boys. Good to be here.
Thank you for
nice
coming.
Job.
Yeah. The new podcast digs. You haven't been to the Hashfield residence yet?
Hashfield. I'll always miss Rosie.
Yeah, no, it was a good little studio. It's now been leveled. I've got photos of it somewhere, but yeah, it's pretty much been demolished. But we got a couple of good episodes in that place, and
it'll go down in the annals.
It will, and it was my recording studio as well, and it's a couple of projects that I started in there actually just finished this last couple of weeks. Massive projects that started recording there, and I've just finished mixing them. So that's been keeping me pretty busy. What about you, bro? What have you been up to lately?
Yeah, moving. Just finished up my recent job, so yeah, doing that. Not doing much at the moment. Getting ourselves set up here, getting to know the area. Standard stuff. Takes me a bit to get used to the areas when I move, so yeah, still getting to learn where the shops and best coffee and bacon and egg rolls and shit are, and all that kind of stuff. But standard stuff. Still riding the bike, still gaming, yada yada.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And how about you, Jezza? What's been
game on
keeping you busy?
Oh, mate, work full time, as you know.
You're getting up fucking early in the morning, man.
Yeah, school holidays at the moment, so I've got to do the changeover with the missus.
Yeah.
She's working a bit earlier in the days.
Yeah, right.
Into the night. So, tag team about 2 p.m.
How cold is it when you get up in the morning?
It's not too bad.
Oh, come on, man.
It's not as bad as it gets at 6 when the sun hits.
Yeah. Jesus.
And what are you doing at that time in the morning?
Well,
walk us through, when you wake up.
I wake up. Do I really have to go through this?
do you shower at that time in the morning?
No, I'm an evening shower.
Yeah,
I like to sleep clean,
Yeah, well, man, you die. It'd be so cold. I can't imagine how cold it'd be.
It's cold.
Yeah, it's been pretty brisk in the morning lately. Luckily, we haven't been copping the rain too much. So I'm just one of those people that fucking just loses an umbrella. I'll own it for less than a day. I can count on two hands the hours I'll own an umbrella, and I'll just leave it somewhere. So bad with it. Do we even own an umbrella?
Yeah, there's one right next to us.
Oh man.
See, I just bought a kick-ass $43 umbrella.
$43. Is that what an umbrella costs you these days? I wouldn't even know.
Don't get bourbon or nothing.
I was sick of them all turning inside out and flying away from me, so I thought, bugger this, I'm going to get a good quality umbrella. So I thought, fuck it, I'll spend the $40-something bucks.
Yeah.
And it's turned out to be awesome. I love it. It's my favourite ever umbrella.
Yeah, right.
I still haven't got a name for it. But
so yeah, don't leave that shit on the bus.
Umbrella. On the train, I'm sitting there with it between my legs, holding onto it tightly. That one. Yeah,
so what are we going to talk about tonight, boys? Let's have a chat about the election and shit. I think they just announced tonight that the coalition got the 76, the golden 76 seats that they need to form a majority government
and raise a thin majority government.
We'd all like to say congratulations. All our friends that voted for them.
Yeah, I don't know how much of the demographic of this podcast would have voted for the winning parties, but Liberal National Party have formed a government again, so we've got another 3 years of that, which is not super awesome. When you say it's a super thin majority, though, wasn't it they were worried they wouldn't reach the 76 and then they'd have to
worry? But if something happens now, if somebody was making the point the other day, if there's somebody who's sick, or you have to go to a funeral, or something happens, or that they can't be there for the vote and they really need that vote, then they don't have the leeway to be able to do that. They're going to have to be there for every single fucking vote every time, otherwise they're not going to have the numbers to get shit through.
Right.
But they've got the support of these crossbenchers now as well, which kind of gives them that leeway. So we'll see. It's interesting.
What are your general feelings about this election? Is it a landmark in people's faith in the two-party system, Barnsey?
Well, yeah, I do think that this election and the last election with the hung parliament situation, I think is an indicator that that two-party preferred system is on a bit of a last leg situation. I think we're seeing it not just in Australia, but across a lot of Western democracies where the incumbents are either being ousted with some weird, off from the centre candidate coming in and taking a lot of the popular vote away, or it coming down to such a 50-50 split that there's no real definitive democratic majority. It's weird though, man. Like in Australia, it's every time it strays from that though, it's almost as if people start to chastise you for even thinking away from that system. They're like, oh, if you don't vote for one of the major parties, you're going to be one of the reasons why we have these hung parliaments and why we have these crazies.
Think about the preferences.
And then you've got, like, when you think about it, look at the alternatives. They're fucking loons, a lot of them. Like, you were talking like, your Jackie Lambie and
I couldn't wait to bring her up.
Do you know how many seats she got? She got at least her.
Oh, she won a Senate seat back for sure. Yeah.
And then you get your Pauline Hansons, and then to a larger degree, I think it also means you get people like Trump, that are coming in and Trump's he was never really part of the Republican Party, so to say that America's still got there.
He would have always supported them.
Oh, for sure, yeah. He's supported both sides. Like, there's some photo that just came out where it's Trump and his wife with Clinton, both of the Clintons at some fundraiser, and they're all like, shooting fingers at each other and stuff. And it's just a good example of as much as they'll start to go at each other at the moment, they're part of that small elite that really are looking after each other kind of thing. But the point is that I think that this lack of confidence in the two-party systems is bringing in these fringe candidates like your Trumps, like your Jackie Lambies, like fucking Pauline Hanson. I can't believe she's back. I cannot believe.
Really? Is it that unbelievable?
Well,
I don't think it's that unbelievable, but
I can't believe she got 3 seats. She got 3 seats.
Well,
so
that's the thing. Well, they changed the rules for this type of shit in the last parliament to make it harder for these people to get in. And we've got more of them than we did last time. It's like, fucking hell, man. Like,
do you know what laws that they
It was about the preference deals, the preferences, like you're saying. And they couldn't do the backyard preference deals that they were doing in the last election. It had to be a lot more above board or something. It was something the Greens that were really pushing for. And the Greens pushed through the last parliament and the Liberals voted for it as well. And it was to make it harder for these micro parties to get in on such small percentage of votes through preferences. But the Greens didn't do tremendously well this election. So, and the people that they were designing it to stop, it didn't stop. So it's kind of fucking blown up in their face, and it's going to be impossible. So just like we were saying, they need the votes to get through the lower house, then they need to get it through Pauline Hanson and fucking Jackie Lambie and fucking Darren Hinch and fucking it's going to be a shit fight for the next 3 years.
But see, this is my point. It almost seems like I don't believe in conspiracies so far that everything is orchestrated but sometimes it feels like it's almost orchestrated, that there are these fringe lunatics that are the only option from voting from the two parties. You know, okay, so I'm sick of voting Labor, I'm sick of voting Liberal. It's just, you know, two puppets on the same fucking puppet master. I'm gonna vote for something else. And, you know, well, okay, there's the Greens, but the Greens have, you know,
Throw your vote away.
well, it's not throwing your vote away, but it's a very, you know, not narrow-minded vote, but it's a very focused vote in terms of, you know what the Greens stand for, but you also know that the Greens have fuck all fiscal, you know, policies and stuff like that. So, you know, so there's the Greens, and that usually ends up being a vote for one of the major parties anyway, you know, and that was a big thing about this election, is that there won't be any deals made with the Greens, you know, both sides coming out saying it. And then it was funny when the Greens came out and said, of course they're going to make deals with this. Like, that's how this works. Like, you know, what the fuck, you know? So, yeah, I looked at all of these other, you know, options, and there's some, you know, pretty wacky options out there. There's other, like, single issue groups, you know, that'll be on the ballot. Like, when I say single issue groups, it'll be like something that's, you know, we just stand for this, and that's all that we'll push for in terms of, you know, if we get your vote. Like the Hemp Party, help end marijuana prohibition. They probably don't have much fiscal policies either, but that's, you know, what their vote would be for.
Yeah,
and then
their one would be pretty simple. So when you run out of papers, just use the notes. Yeah.
And then there was like one that I didn't hear about before I voted, and then all of a sudden there was just like people as I was standing to vote, people handing out flyers and stuff for it. Was the Science Party. Did you see this?
Yeah. A colleague of mine volunteered for them.
Yeah, right.
Flyers. Yeah.
So science is
and
cool
cyclists
and stuff, but it's a bit hard to find out about it so quickly and then go, you know, what is this? You know, because it could be like, you know, 100% beef, just because it's called that. You know, ain't a guarantee. You know what I mean?
Like the Health Australia Party that everyone was saying was an anti-vax movement.
Yeah. Which one?
Health Australia Party.
Health Australia. Yeah. I did read something about that. Yeah. So, yeah. So Science Party. So then I was like, all right, cool. And you know how you get your green, is green House of Reps, and then the big white ballot paper is the Senate.
Yeah.
And you know, which one did you do first? The green or the white?
Green.
You did the green first. Green or the white?
I got the white. Always.
You do the white first before the green.
I do.
Weird. I don't know if it's. I just assumed everyone would do the small one first. Do the house.
Well, that's the one that kind of.
Because I can't find the green one, so I go, fuck it, I'll just do the white one.
Yeah.
Look for the green one stuck under there. It's a tiny thing compared to this massive scroll from 1600 AD.
Well, I did the green one first, and on the green one, it was the Science Party was one of the options.
Mm.
And then I looked at the white one, which was the Senate, and it was the Science Party / Cyclists Party. I'm like, what? Huh? Did you notice that?
I called that before.
No, I didn't see that.
And cyclists, yeah.
So I'm not really pro-cyclists, hey?
Here we go.
Really not. They can't. They can't. And
what's wrong with them?
That political.
Sure, they're gay and they like lycra and stuff, but what's wrong with them?
It's just this like agenda, and you know that if there's a political
agenda,
there's an agenda.
I'm going to ride my bike.
They want everyone to ride fucking bikes. That's what cyclists want. They want everyone to ride bikes. That's the solution, and you know that that's what their political party is going to be about.
Really?
So I don't know. I'm just assuming this. I didn't look into it at all, but I was just like taken aback when I saw after it was on the House of Reps ballot vote. It was just the Science Party was one of the options, and then on the Senate ballot vote, it was / Cyclist Party. I'm like, what? No one of those dudes out the front that were handing out those flyers were saying / Cyclist Party. They were just like Science Party. We're awesome.
They might have been running on a joint ticket in the Senate, and as you noticed, they might have had a candidate in that electorate for their party, and that's what they're probably telling you.
Amalgamate the names.
Yeah. It wouldn't be cheaper. It'd be that they'd get more votes if they teamed up. That's what it'd be. 100%. It's all about fucking votes.
Membership, rounding up members.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. We're stronger together, We agree on something.
Yeah, similar policies or an aligned vision.
Yeah.
So they can, be on the same ticket. Yeah, but I was just like, what? Okay.
I couldn't believe how fucking long the lines were. What time did we go? It was like maybe 3 o'clock or something. It was pretty fucking late in the day.
Yeah.
And the line was fucking long. Admittedly, we didn't have to wait too long. It was like half an hour or so. I just couldn't believe how fucking long it was. And if you're in a place like America where it's voluntary voting, and I turned up to there, and the sausage sizzle had already fucking gone.
Well,
so there's 75% of my fucking motivation gone right there with no sausage sizzle. And I see a fucking line like that. See you cunts, I'm going home.
We had cupcakes, we had little other assorted goodies.
Did you?
Yeah, cheap, 50 cents for a pretty reasonable cupcake.
Not all of us get up at 4:10.
So, okay, this raises an interesting question. To make it more efficient, do you think we should go the American route and have electronic voting machines?
I've got Jeb Bush's number. We can give him a call. He makes a good one, apparently.
Yeah, Diebold. I think Diebold is the company we want to.
There was people talking about it on the news the other day, and apparently they trialled it somewhere. I think it was Queensland
in
or
Australia.
Something.
Yeah, right.
And it was like a state thing or something like that. And they could do internet voting, and they were like, we cannot guarantee the authenticity of any of these votes that are done through online. They need to be authenticated or some shit, and it takes ages and lots of money, and it ended up being a disaster for this trial. Right. Now, I don't know if that means that it's not going to work or whatever, but they need to get that shit right. Even if it's electronic,
Hack yourself into power.
Well, yeah, this is the problem. Like, there's some dodgy documentaries about, obvious evidence that they are tampered with. And there's, heaps of YouTube footage of people taking in their mobile as they vote and showing them on the touchscreen, pressing one of the candidates and it ticking the other one.
What?
Shit like that, yeah. And then there's been other cases.
Are they real?
They could be doctored. You never know with YouTube videos. Yeah, it could be a fake out video.
I have seen that.
But the Hacking Democracy, that's a good documentary on pretty much the second Bush election was, there's a lot of questionable results from electronic voting machines. But yeah, even to take it further, like you're saying with that trial, what about some kind of internet voting system where you could do it from home? And that was two of the candidates in this election in the Senate. One was called Vote Flux, and the other one was called, I think, Direct Democracy or something like that.
Yeah.
And their idea was, Vote Flux's idea was, if they get a Senate seat, this dude is he's a crossbencher. He's got no conscience on what he's voting on. It's all, and everyone gets an app, and every vote in the Senate, pops up on your phone, and you say how you would want your guy to vote.
I think that's fucking overkill, though.
And
personally.
I guess what would happen is that everyone that's got the app, what won that vote is how this guy would vote. You know what I mean? So if 10,000 people have got the app and 5,001 vote, yes, we want to legalise gay marriage, he looks at his phone as the vote goes in the Senate. He goes, okay, the app says I vote yes. And that's how he votes. And so that's taking away elected representatives, that whole system of... Because that whole system was set up at a time before we had the communications that we have, and it would be a case of we'd have to fucking ride a horse into the fucking town square every time there was a major decision to be made, and people were just like, we just can't we just need to live our lives. We've got our fucking, livestock to look after. You know what? Bob over there, he's a good bloke. I trust Bob, and I'm going to let Bob go and ride into town for me
Fucking
and
Bob.
vote for us. You know, he's pretty good. I elect Bob, and that's essentially what the system is morphed into. What we have now, we have elected representatives that get the popular vote and then trot themselves into the fucking Senate and assume what I want voted based off one vote that I got them just to get their seat.
Isn't it based off the values and the morals of that person? You know, you're voting because you know their stance on conservative or liberal values or whatever, and you trust their judgment in those regards, I guess.
Is it too much work to ask people to vote on all of the decisions that they have to make on our behalf?
I think so. You know how dumb fucking
the only
people
problem
are.
I can see with it is, what if the general public are just fucking idiots?
Yeah,
That's
fucking
the problem. Or
You can't trust them to make decisions on a cute animal somewhere, and you have to
yeah.
cut
I don't know,
millions of
maybe
dollars
you-
to save a little fire ant or something. And then-
Maybe you work out like charms that you earn if you vote, like, you know, do 5 Senate votes today and you'll get like a lucky charm for your bloody Bubble Crush game or some shit. I don't know.
Bubble Crush game or some
Case in
shit.
point, what was that boat called? They voted on, the English voted on this boat.
Voting with boat face.
Boat face. Perfect example. You
Yeah,
don't
okay,
think,
okay.
yeah.
Or okay, am I just being...
People's going to introduce a fucking thing like free marshmallow Thursdays or some shit, and it'll get passed because everybody fucking likes marshmallows.
No, because that, you know, we're not introducing bills. We're just voting on what bills are being
But
presented.
somebody will too. To highlight how silly of a system this is.
Okay, I've got 2 points. I've got 2 answers to that. Number one, isn't that really how democracy is meant to work? And aren't you just pointing out a flaw in democracy?
Oh, I'm
or is
pointing
that a
out-
safeguard
I'm pointing out a
against
flaw
silly
in the
democracy is
general
having these
populace.
elected representatives that stop
No.
us voting for free blowjob Thursday?
Free blowjob Thursday. See, as if you wouldn't fucking
tried
vote for that. If that came up on your phone and it said free blowjob Thursday from guaranteed hot chick and caveat, by the way, not by a dude, fucking by the
What
Prime
is this
Minister.
podcast descended to.
But if
But
you
you
got
know-
that, you're not going to go yes, and then maybe a week later you go, oh, hang on, this is going to, you know, we're going to have to take funding out of fucking, you know, nursing homes or some shit to pay
Yeah.
for my blowjobs.
Yeah.
I don't think this is probably the best priority for our nation. You know, but in the heat of the moment, fucking A, yes.
But are we selling humanity short? Like, are we really going to do
No.
that? And the second point I wanted to make is this like a utopian dream? But would it get to the point where people are like, man, this is hard of figuring out how to answer these vote questions, and then we lean harder on our like news sources instead of giving us crap news to actually start discussing the stuff that we vote on in the Senate every day?
It's
and
a
that
nice
becomes
idea.
like that becomes like a current affair, not fucking chasing some dude down and getting like him to not answer questions, but to actually like, hey, here's 4 big votes that are coming out tomorrow. Here's like us debating, you know.
But do you really think people are going to get to that stage, or are they just going to go, I don't fucking care, I'm not voting?
Probably, yeah. But it's interesting, and that they were 2 parties that were in the Senate. I don't know how they did. I don't think they did very well. I don't think they actually got a seat. So I don't think this idea of the app sharing, you know, the votes is going to actually come to fruition. But interesting.
It's
because-
interesting for sure, and then it's like it's probably a step too far in that direction.
Because I honestly think that
We need to
is
move
my
towards
answer
that.
to your first question of the 2-party system. Is it broken? Is this a sign that it's done? Maybe just, you know, having a bit more of a direct way of us having a say is the answer to that. But then you're giving the masses...
Not for everything, man. Not for everything.
Yeah.
But if it is the death of the 2-party system, what's the solution that's going to come out of it? Like, it's all good, well and good to say, look, we're not happy with these parties anymore or the way it works, but you've got to come up with, we've got to have a government, right? So in what form? How is it going to work? And like, if you have pockets of like these little self-interest groups everywhere fighting for their own interests, you know, with their blinders on without looking at the other issues at the same time, Isn't that going to just bring us to a deadlock?
I think it'll have to take a slightly more well-adjusted society to take on this responsibility.
Oh, fucking A.
To be honest with you,
Like, if it happened tomorrow, it'd be chaos.
we just need quality representatives for the moment.
Well, we just need people not to tell us crap, and I think that's where people are getting disenfranchised. These people are like, look, we can see through your spin. We can just, even if it's not what we want to hear, just tell us the fucking truth. Just come out, and it's rife for somebody like a Bob Hawke or somebody who's, that man's, Blake, in politics. That's why I think like Albanese, if he became the Labour leader, he's that kind of charismatic blokey dude, Aussie dude.
It's a shame leaders can't get jobs in other countries like coaches. They were super around international footy coaches.
Who would we tap in?
I'd go for Putin.
You get
Putin.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
It'd be the Iron Pacific.
Look, there's a lot of things about Putin that I like when I see him, but like there's
Sochi. Have a look at Sochi.
That dude's got to be corrupt to the bone.
I'd like to say it doesn't really officially
wasn't there some
represent
dude
my
that
political views in any way, shape, or form.
wasn't there some dude that had I can't remember what he had on Putin. I don't know if he was a journalist that was going to write something about him, or maybe it was somebody in the opposition of government that was talking shit about him, but it's mysteriously disappeared. No, he was gunned down. He was gunned down.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, was it on the steps of the Kremlin or some shit?
Nearby. Yeah.
Jesus. And fucking there's a Vice documentary on how the Sochi Olympics were the most corrupt in history and the most expensive Olympics in history by a long shot.
And the most
both summer and winter, we're talking about the most expensive Olympics ever. And it's fucking crazy the way the Russians rorted that, man. They just pilfered money. Yeah.
And everyone got bugged. If you had a laptop or a phone or whatever, you got tapped into.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. How's fucking Edward Snowden? That's where he's hanging out, fucking in Russia, which is fucking pretty hectic. I think that
not much of him in the news.
Snowden, he's doing you can buy tickets to a live event with him in Australia.
Yeah, right.
And I looked
In
into
Australia?
it. Yeah. And I looked into it, and I'm like, oh, it's like a live projector.
Oh, right.
Well, it's a live feed. He'll actually, and I guess there'll be Q&A from the audience and stuff.
It's a conference call.
But it's like, what? There's probably $100 tickets right there to watch something that you could probably see streamed online.
God.
But yeah. What else are we going to talk about?
Well, I'm not really good with politics. I was looking forward to the next topic.
Yeah, well, that's why I just get it out of the way first. Yeah, look, it is still up in the air. It'll be interesting to see for the next fucking however long.
Yeah.
And by the by, Trump's a fucking lunatic, and I'll leave it at that.
Well, I think our last episode, we were just it was becoming likely that he might get the Republic nomination.
Yeah.
And to think now that he's actually the
presumptive.
Is that what they call it? Presumptive nominee. Yeah. And it's going to be, and Sanders is out, and it's just going to be Clinton versus Trump.
He's going to get fucking annihilated.
What a few months. But Clinton, man, couldn't they just pick somebody that didn't have like 20 outstanding felonies?
She got off. She got off this week. They dropped them all. I saw that this week.
All of them.
Yeah, she's not. She doesn't. They said that she acted. She was a dumb bitch, essentially. But there was nothing like we can criminally charge you for.
But it turned out she had like the full high-level top secret stuff in the emails.
Oh man!
And she said flat out when it first came out, she's like, there was nothing at that top secret level that was in my email service, and there's like 7 full hardcore top level.
Like if it was against a proper fucking nominee, they'd just be able to rape her with that kind of stuff. But because it's Trump, it's like, well, it's Trump. You know, like it's kind of like It just gets, it's not as bad as Trump, so who fucking cares? It's like, well, no, come on. It's still fucking dodgy as fuck. But yeah.
So the books are open. Who are you tipping
For the American election,
for Prez?
Oh, man, it's got to be Clinton
for sure.
It's got to be Clinton.
It's going to be, it's going to be Clinton.
Unless the Republicans go, fuck you, Trump, we're not going to take you, and we'll get somebody else, which is highly, highly unlikely now. All these people that have voted would probably then go to Clinton, but
yeah,
it'll be Clinton.
I was reading something that it is still, legally and technically possible for the Republicans to not have Trump as their front runner, but at this point, I think it'd be like suicide for the party. It's suicide for the party. They've already committed suicide.
Fucked, man.
It's a shit situation, but I do think Clinton will take it. I mean, if it's just a shame. Like, it's awesome that there's going to be like a woman president and stuff. It's just shitty that it's going to be her. Like, just so shrouded in so much like mistrust. Like, and not just like, I don't think that's just my personal opinion. I think the general American public just like. Again, I don't believe in orchestrated conspiracies, but it almost seems perfect that they put Trump up as the opposition to her, because like it's just a walk-in for her at this point. Like, yeah, Trump had like a crazy numbers appealing to Republicans in like southern states and shit, but him against her in a general election, he'll just absolutely get smashed.
It's a comedy.
So yeah, it almost seems like perfect, like the way that Hillary could have gotten in, especially surrounded all of this controversy. And yeah, she did get off, but who knows what the Republicans will do to, like, as we get closer to the knife's edge, because it's fucking November.
It's not far away now. Oh.
But still, there's still a long time for them to. They're probably keeping a few big hits under their sleeves, ready to use more towards the finish line.
But fucking how many big hits do the Democrats have now, just from the last 6 months, man? Like, holy shit. Like, take your pick.
As I said, it'll be...
Like, if they do one, they'll be able to come back with 10 of their own. It's just, they're going to wipe the floor with them, in my opinion. And so they fucking should, because he's a fucking lunatic.
What do you reckon? You reckon Hillary will take it? Yeah. So there'll be comedy with having Bill back on the scene. Dude's just comedy gold, man. He's just...
Do you have reservations about Clinton being back in the
first
White House?
Do I have reservations?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm
not all over the.
I've heard all sorts of theories on what Bill's role will be, from not much to total lefty freakout stuff.
Yeah. Right.
But then I've read people that say that she always wielded more power than him anyway and was influential.
Yeah, right. I think the notion that he will just sit cruisily and not have any hand in things is a fallacy. Of course, he'll have a hand in things.
Like, what kind of things though? Like what's her agenda?
Oh, the breakfast buffet. He'll be there. Continental breakfast.
But some would say that's
like,
part of the...
Do they want to go and invade somewhere, or is it like something as full on as that, or is it like domestic policy or some shit? Yeah,
just probably a vision that they've both had, and it probably in the same fashion that Hillary probably influenced Bill when he was president. Some people would say that this is one of the advantages for voting for Hillary and having Hillary Clinton as president, is she knows how the machinations of that whole system works. She's been there already.
She's the
not only as the
Defense.
wife of a president, but as the Secretary of State. Like, she knows how diplomacy works. She knows the players in the game. Like, and if you're talking those credentials versus Trump, there is no question who you want in the job. No question.
She watched the whole season of West Wing. How many there were. She got into that.
Fucking House of Cards.
Yes.
All right. So, what was on my list?
Can we talk about Pokemon quickly?
What, Pokemon Go? Is that what you want to talk about?
I was asking a mate of mine at work, what the fuck is going on?
I
Like,
downloaded
why
it
is
last
everybody
night.
playing Pokemon all of a sudden?
It's Pokemon Go.
There's one of those memes. It's a classic meme where it's like a shot of Robin Williams from Jumanji, and he's like,
Yeah.
and it's like, what was the whole phrase?
I have
Shit, I've
seen
forgotten
that.
it. It's like everybody's, I think, listening to the new Blink-182 album
That's
and playing
right.
Pokemon. What year is it?
Yeah, everybody's playing Pokemon. That's right. Yeah.
What
that's
the
right.
fuck? And
This is
all,
all you CEX guys that have probably fucking watched this as well. You fucking all play it, and I don't understand. Like,
You've
are you
got
going
it.
out at night and walking to these places and taking
heaps of people at
photos
my
and
work
shit?
play it.
got it,
Heaps
bro.
of
I
people.
bet.
I got it last night, and I I downloaded it. I downloaded it on my phone, and I was like waiting for another game to load. That's
Oh, right. Okay,
Right,
yeah.
and I think it
How many
was-
of those little critters have you caught?
That's how you
Well, I got one when I first opened it, and it was like, now you have to go and fucking go down the end of the street and I don't know. Do you have to take a photo of shit? Is that how
I
you
don't
catch
know. I
them?
thought it was you had to. It gave you a location of one of the little buggers, and you had to go and get it and film it or something.
Yeah, I think,
I've got the inside scoop because I asked this dude at work. So many people at my work play it. Like grown men are playing Pokemon.
Oh man,
on their phone.
Pokemon is fucking massive.
And
Like,
I'm like, what's the deal, man? He's like, okay, so it's like an app for your phone, obviously, but what it does, it's like that Microsoft thing we were talking about that overlay shit. So it uses your phone's camera.
the augmented reality shit.
That shit, yeah. It uses your camera, and you basically walk around the world looking through your camera's phone, and it overlays Pokemon shit on
And
it.
I found one
And
last
it's
night.
integrated
doing
with
that.
Google Maps, and you're meant to go out into the world. And I don't play Pokemon, and this dude that's explaining it to me, it's talking to me like I do know what fucking Pokemon does. Like, he's like, yeah, man, you just go out and you see a creature and you just catch it with your Pokemon. I'm like, what do you mean you catch it with your Pokemon?
Okay, I think
he's
I
like,
was-
you with your ball, man. With your ball.
Yeah. So you got the Pokemon ball, right? The red and white ball.
Yeah.
And this is what I had to do last night. I was looking around the room and I found one. It was like, oh, catch it. And it's like, oh, all right. And then you press the ball and they go into the ball. Now, with Pokemon, right, then
And
you've got
this is
them
like
in the
collecting
ball.
cards, isn't
but
it?
you're collecting Pokemon, right? And so the characters are Pokemon, right? And then when you go into battle, you've got all these different Pokemon that you can then unleash from these fucking balls, right? Is this right? Do you know?
No idea.
Okay, well, I'm pretty sure, right? And it's like Final Fantasy turn-based fucking bullshit. Yeah, give me shit for that. It's crap.
No, I tell a lie. I thought you had to just find them in
But
some capacity
I
around
thought
the
this,
world.
as
They're
far
really
as I
rare
can see, you
ones
just
and-
find them in this game. You're not actually fighting
Okay.
anything. But I could be wrong. Like I said, I looked at it for 2
you
minutes
just walk
while
around
someone was loading.
the real world.
Catching Pokemon.
So if you go into the shops, you're meant to pull out your phone and maybe just check the app, and you just kind of like look around the shops through your camera's phone, and you'll be like, there'll be a creature over there, and you catch it with your ball. I don't know, you throw your ball at it or some shit, and then that becomes like collecting more Pokemons, and that gives maybe your ball extra powers or some shit.
yeah.
I don't understand, but
This technology is like a drug that keeps getting better. I love it.
well, it is. This is next. The next.
man,
It's a bit like geocaching. Did I tell you about that?
No,
My neighbour knocked on the door a few weeks ago, and he goes, "Oh, come out here for a second."
geocaching. It's going to be
Geocaching.
storing something.
Yeah, so he goes, "Oh, there was a because we have a reserve out our back fence.
Yeah.
we don't have neighbours out the back. There's like a little park,
Right.
and this guy was out there right up at the fence in the rockery pulling something out. And he pulled out this container, he reckons, and got all the stuff out. It was like trinkets and whatever else, and he took and photographed them and put it back in. And he goes, I didn't know what he was doing. He just looked so suspect. And I said, oh, let's go down and have a look. So we went out the back fence, and I found it between all these rocks, and it was like this little Tupperware container, and it had a guest book in it and a few key rings and
What?
things like this in it, and had this little slip of paper that said, congratulations, you have found so and so, and I think it had a location on it, and it had something about geocaching. It said geocaching is so and so.
Right.
Sign the guest book, and so that piqued my interest in it.
So
I looked it up, and it's a worldwide thing, and it's gotten really popular.
yeah, right.
And so people walk around with a sat nav, and
But what are
something
you
that-
meant to like leave a trinket or take
You're
it,
meant
swap a
to
trinket or
swap
some
or
shit?
leave or whatever.
Yeah, right.
It's-
That's pretty cool. Well, I guess it's a similar thing
It's a
with
treasure
Pokemon
hunt.
where you're going to locations on Google Maps. So, like, yeah, geolocation. But I guess it's just randomized. But one of the funny things I read about that Pokemon shit was part of the game, apparently, is you go to places that are called gyms. And in gyms, you train your characters to get better powers or some shit. This is just what I read. But this dude, like, who didn't play Pokemon, who didn't know what Pokemon was about, noticed all of these people starting to rock up to his house and to just get out of their car and just start looking in his house through their phone and, like, do stuff on their phone and then get in their car and drive away. And he was like, what the fuck? He started filming them. And then, his daughter came home, and his daughter was like, oh, they're Pokemoning. And she pulls her Pokemon thing out and realizes that their house has been set as a gym in the game. So all these people are, like, going there to, like, get their characters to go into his house. So you just point your camera at this dude's house.
That sounds fucking awful.
And it's not meant to be done on houses. It's like meant to be like public places like bus stops and shit like that. But they fucked up and made it this dude's house. And he was like middle of the night, like grown fucking dudes, like 40-year-old dudes would be like fucking like cruising past with no lights on their car and their phone, like doing shit.
Well, that's what I noticed. That's what I got up to last night. I think there's like these landmark things you can go to. You take a photo of them, and I don't know. You get more Pokemon. I don't know.
Well, there's
What do you do with these Pokemon once you've caught them? Do you then? Is that the whole fucking point of it? And Jim, one of my good mates, one of my old workers, he's a big Pokemon dude, and he's like, he did a Facebook post. He's like, Pokemon Go takes all the shit bits of Pokemon and it's not fun. So real Pokemon veterans, which he is and you are,
There you go.
they even think it's pretty shit. It does reek of like a freemium mobile game.
Yeah, the
Flavour of the
purchasable
week.
add-ons will be thick and fast.
Well,
I'm sure.
you watch, if it'll be next week, it'll be something else. But Pokemon is massive. It is huge.
I did read other articles of people that are being hospitalised. So some idiot was driving and doing it.
What?
Like fucking driving his car, looking through his phone's camera, trying to catch Pokemon. Like, Jesus.
Always a good
My
idea.
God.
I guess these are the same people I'm asking to vote in the Senate for every decision.
These are the same people that drive with their sat nav right in the middle of the freaking screen. There's only one place for that thing. It's in the bottom right corner.
Bottom
People,
right?
Get it right.
Bottom right?
Bottom right.
So I rocked it bottom centre for a little while. Not like fucking right in the middle of the fucking window. But
I've
down
seen
there.
people right here, right in the middle.
I've seen like some like Uber drivers have got like 2 or 3 cradles as well, like stuck like right there in the middle of their fucking, like, you know, a big fucking iPhone 6S Plus and a fucking sat nav and fucking what's that shit that Homer's got in his car when he fucking decks it out? He's got like the fucking meat roaster and shit. He plugs into the cigarette lighter. Okay, so some shit I had on my list to talk about. You guys know Elon Musk,
Yeah.
Tesla.
the
Hey,
Tesla dude,
Tesla.
right?
SpaceX.
Yeah. The new fucking what is it? The new Tesla. That looks pretty tasty. Yeah.
No, it's like the more consumer grade one. It's kind of like a bit more of a mid-range. Still pretty tang and really good tech, but not as expensive as the full expensive
I
one.
was reading about the hydrogen car.
Hydrogen.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think Hyundai are the only one that have made the mass-produced model, but Toyota are about to.
Yeah,
Right.
And they've sent out about 3 test models or 6 test models out here.
Yeah,
I
right.
remember a few years ago, BMW were trying hydrogen, and they had a hydrogen cell, but they were just like, how the fuck are we going to make the hydrogen safe? Because if someone crashes and ruptures the hydrogen tank, It's like fucking,
Yeah,
what
right.
was that blimp?
Hindenburg.
Yeah.
No
It'll
humanity.
be like that. So if they can get over that shit, because hydrogen is everywhere. We can just H2O for fuck's sake, you know, it's
I'm not
everywhere.
sure how big the tank has to be, but
Well, like
it's good to see it finally coming out. I mean,
if
there's
they can
been
do that,
conspiracy theories about that one for years.
man.
Yeah.
If they can do
Disappearing
that,
the hydrogen, the water fuel cell, and
Yeah.
well, that's a proper solution
think it's
rather
different,
than
isn't it?
electricity, because you've got an infinite source. This is like hydrogen's like one of the most abundant things in the atmosphere, and if we can pull that and use that as a resource rather than burning coal or fossil fuels
Yeah.
to generate the electricity
Well, I
for
just
our
thought-
electric
so-
cars. That's the answer, is hydrogen, I reckon.
yeah, that engine I was talking about must be different to what I'm thinking of.
The water powered
That
one.
water fueled one that
There was a Rogan
splits the
podcast where
molecule.
they had some interview with a dude on some old school like local news, and he fully like converted his like dune buggy into a water powered vehicle, like fully just like he's like, you know, you can use rainwater, you can use seawater, you can use dirty water, like
piss water.
he was. I think that's pretty much what he was alluding to. Like you could piss in the tank and it'd run, and it has footage of him like fully like cranking it up and driving it and shit. And they're talking about on the podcast how like that dude, you know, would have been getting, you know, knocks on the door from Exxon the next day and shit, because it wasn't like on mainstream news. It was just like on some local news fucking thing. He was talking about how, you know, the military came to him to to have a look at it. He's like, yeah, I'll just show him how I built it and stuff. And so yeah, and
Mate.
this is part of the conspiracy about the water powered cars is that actually Henry Ford figured out a water powered car as well.
Well, I don't know about
I
that.
think that was one of the.
I know
one
he
of the
built
theories.
it. I know he built a hemp car.
I know that a lot of the
body was made out of-
yeah, the body parts are made out of hemp.
He was smashing it with the sledgehammer.
Yeah, fully.
Fuck.
But okay, so Elon Musk, right, is now filing for his second divorce, right? And he lives in one of those unfortunate states in America that have the, you know, harsh alimony, you know, wife takes half of your money kind of thing. But here's the kicker. So he's up for like losing a lot of his cash, right, to this lady that he's actually married for the second time. He already had divorced her, and then he remarried her. And when he remarried her, when they first got married, he wasn't like, he was kind of rich, but he wasn't like, you know,
Man, he'd be worth so much fucking
feeling
money.
rich, right? And then they got divorced, and then they remarried when he was like kicking ass, and he didn't get a prenup on the second time around. No prenup agreement, and now he's fucked. Oh, he's not fucked, but like seriously, like
Half.
this
gone.
dude is like a freaking genius, right? He's some of the shit that he's figured out. Like he could be like, you know, one of those accelerated brains that comes around every now and then. Like we talk about the fucking monkeys voting on fucking, you know, the Senate shit. Like, yeah, the masses generally are pretty fucking dull, but every now and then you get like these like Einstein brains or these fucking Isaac Newton brains or these fucking. I reckon Elon Musk is up there just with some of the fucking innovations and like, you know, the vision that he has for a lot of shit. And fucking his wife, who's done what? Who's done what?
I'm sure she's done something.
I'm sure
She's
she
part of the
deserves something.
Musk team.
Half? Come on, that's ridiculous.
Oh, man,
Come
you
on.
fucking
Behind every great man's a woman.
you're treading on dangerous ground.
Mrs. Musk, you know.
Are you telling me that her being set up with 10 mil is not... That's plenty of compens.
Adam, I don't think it's any of our business, really.
I couldn't believe that he got married again and didn't get the prenup the second time round. Like,
Man, should be getting a shitload. Man, he
crazy.
did that SpaceX thing, and I saw it was only a couple of weeks ago, and they did a test launch, and the fucking, because they want to have reusable things. That's their whole thing, is that they can launch it and bring it back and
they're
turn it
figuring out how to
around.
land it on like a barge.
Fully, man. It was remotely launched, and then it was like fucking through GPS and like automatic shit, landed itself on a moving barge in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
Holy fucking shit. That's Einstein brain shit.
That's pretty gnarly. It's
Like,
pretty gnarly.
holy crap.
And one of the other cool things that he's come up with, and I think there's some stretches of road that now have it, is he's figured out a way to build a road that will charge his cars as you drive on that particular lane.
Oh, fuck.
So instead of having to actually pull over and charge your car, so when you're doing long distances, you just pull over into the Tesla lane and through the wheels, I guess, it fucking charges the car back up.
Fucking hell.
How awesome is that?
I'm giving you cancer. Jesus.
It's fucking just like this pile of like fried squirrels on the side of the road that tried to cross
Well,
the
the ISIS hacks into the matrix, just turns up the voltage.
That'd be some pretty full-on EMFs coming off that.
Yeah, I don't know how the technology works, but yeah, it I don't know, but I like that idea of fucking
I think
not
they've
even
got like
pulling
a-
over to fucking refuel your car.
No, that's pretty
I'm just gonna
cool.
go in this lane for a bit.
Like a
It's alright, son. Just get a little cancer. Just a little cancer.
Mario Kart.
I think they've got like a home thing as well, like a home box thing you can get for your house.
A power wall.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like it's supposed to be like fully efficient for your house.
It's
and-
about the size of. It's weird because when you see photos of it, it's like, oh, that's just a little thing on the wall, and then you actually see someone stand next to it, and it's like, oh,
We were
okay.
talking about this actually.
The Tesla Power
Yeah,
Wall.
I think we might have been.
Yeah, in a podcast.
Yeah, I
yeah,
think so.
right. Well, it's essentially a thing that's looks like the size of a big, I don't know, boogie board. I guess would
Yeah.
be the
Fuck,
size.
it's that big.
A big boogie board, and it comes out of the wall of a bit. That's a bank of these new generation batteries that he's figured out that would replace the equivalent of would be pretty much this room full of batteries of the modern batteries that you could get before these Tesla batteries. So a room full, like all in fucking series, all these batteries. And that's what people that do full solar homes have been doing. Is they've got like a whole room dedicated, a battery room. Like that's just what you have to have. And so he's solving that by just having a wall mountable fucking thing that, pretty much with solar will self-charge and will even, if you don't use all the electricity, feeds it back into the main grid,
Oh, right.
and you can sell electricity back
Fuck.
to the government, or not to the government, to the energy providers.
The battery technology and storage is just exponentially going off the scale.
Fully,
Yeah, especially from little batteries to big ones like that.
Yeah.
All that li-poly stuff that came around the last 15, 20 years.
Fully, yeah. But the fucking... You got to wonder how much of that fucking mineral is around, like some of those rare minerals are fucking, not easy to mine. Like they fucking fuck up a lot of the fucking places that I think, like zinc and fucking, what else? I was reading some documentary. I think the Congo is like where a lot of the fucking minerals for batteries are mined from. And they just have these like fucking open pits, fucking
Dodgy.
yeah.
Cesspools everywhere.
So the more batteries we get, it's pretty crazy.
You feel so good chucking them out, don't you?
I had some dude at work fully distressed that I couldn't point him towards a battery disposal bin. He had like one AA battery because he was like got a new battery for his wireless mouse, and he got the old one out. He's like, "Tell me you have battery disposal," and I'm like, I can't tell you that.
I'll tell you, but it doesn't make it so.
I've got a cardboard box there that the janitors will clean at the end of the day. He's like, oh! He's like, oh, yeah. I don't know what to say there. Seriously. What else did I have on my list? The other thing I wanted to talk about was, have you guys seen all of these GetUp petitions? Like, it seems to be this big thing now, like that.
What do they want this time?
Have you seen
don't think so.
the GetUp website? There's a couple of them around, but GetUp's probably the biggest one.
Every morning.
I've posted a few GetUp petitions on Facebook and shit. Basically, it's online petition signing, and anyone can start a campaign. Some of the ones
change.org or whatever it is.
That's another one actually.
Change.org. I signed up to one of those once for something, and I'll get 50 million fucking emails for fucking everything else. I'm like, piss off, you cunts.
Yeah, they spam hard. But there's been a few things, like on the podcast we've talked about that time that Mike Baird came around on medical cannabis. That was all off the back of Lucy Haslam and her son, who at the time was terminal. He since died, but at the time he was like in the hospital trying to get medical cannabis, and she started I think it was a GetUp or maybe it was a change.org petition that got like massive attention. She got like on the news with it and shit, and then Mike Baird stepped up, and there's those trials are happening right now, actually, those medical cannabis trials.
And then he closed down Sydney.
Well,
now he closed the dogs.
Yeah, the greyhounds just got shut down. Fucking, I want to talk about that.
Massive backlash.
Massive. Okay, we'll talk about that in one sec. But just let me ask you this question about these online petitions and shit. Like, they're getting massive numbers, some of these petitions, and some of them are getting some results. Like, they're making politicians either not change shit, but at least address the question in the petitions and shit like that. And one of the big campaigns that one of them sent me in their email spam was, well, since we're going to have such a close parliament, one of the benefits is that politicians will be listening really close to their electorate for the next 3 years. So this is your chance to have your say. Start your petition today. Spread the word. But as I say, some of them have gotten some massive numbers, and it's easy. Some of them get viral.
Yeah.
All it takes is like a online Sydney Morning Herald article to talk about, and then they actually include the link in the article, and then bam, there's another 20,000 signatures. Boom. My question is, do you think that's as powerful as the old school days of a dude or a lady with a clipboard and a pen doing the door knock, going door to door, and getting signatures, and then submitting those signatures, saying, "Look how many signatures we got"? Are these digital ones more watered down? Do they have the same power?
I think they got more power, if you ask me.
Have you ever signed one of these things?
Because people will just be like, "Oh, whatever, another change.org."
Yeah.
It's already getting like
the
that.
Numbers, purely by the numbers, you're going to get 10 times more.
I've signed a few, of course, and I've had spam, like you say, coming. Oh, here's a petition we thought you'd like to be interested in.
Yeah, definitely.
Ones that are similar or along those lines, and it's just like, oh goodness.
I've turned my subscribe section off on a lot of it, and spam filtered a lot of it, because it does get a bit incessant. But yeah, I just wonder if it's like, because it's like I try to put a personal note on things that I sign. But a lot of them does make it easy to just if you've got a login, it's already logged you in, it knows your name, it's just there's the sign button. And if I wanted to, and I don't do it, but if I wanted to, I could just like you say, as soon as you sign something, it's here's another one you might be interested in. I could just go sign. Yeah, sign. Sign. Is that more watered down than somebody actually coming to me? And I'm like, what am I signing? Tell me, to sell it to me. And they're actually, look, we're campaigning to make sure that fucking the Greyhound track doesn't get closed down.
So you're a sucker for those Pitt Street Mall people.
Oh, I fucking hate it, especially door to door. You're coming to my fucking house? You want me to fucking be receptive to you? Man, I thought you were a debt collector, and now I know you're not. I'm just going to let everything out on you. No.
It's scary.
But no, it's awesome, some of the things that are getting noticed through that, and it does make it easy. I do like how easy it is to spread the word on something like that. I can just post some shit on Facebook. It annoys 99% of the people that I fucking probably posted in front of. But if there's one or two more people that signs, and then they share it along, I think it's pretty cool. I just wonder if it's a bit more watered down. But yeah, Greyhound track, right? So this was another case where I thought, you know what? So many people get Mike Baird shit, and I try to give him kudos where kudos is due, and I thought that this was a moment where I was like, fuck yeah, good on ya. Yeah, you've heard that it's fucking pretty shit to the dogs, and there's a fucking rife corruption, and you fucking went, fuck yes.
And that footage on Four Corners was absolutely shocking.
Fucking ridiculous, that footage, man.
I haven't seen any footage. What footage is
what led to all of this.
They
Four
put these
Corners.
hidden cameras. This guy out at Londonderry had this property.
Right.
Real typical, as you'd imagine him to be. And had this training track for greyhounds, and they used to put live bait on the merry-go-round.
Yeah.
Like everything from pigs to possums to whatever else. Yeah, and there was footage of them just tearing these things off the freaking
full
pile.
on.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Oh Jesus,
it was pretty awful.
Oh Jesus.
And they got done big time over it.
Yeah,
big crackdown, and then Baird's come in now and
well, it was
shut it down.
I got to admit,
as he does best.
I can hear people laughing already about me saying this, but I was listening to Triple M, and they did have a fucking talkback bit on the fucking greyhounds, and you can imagine the Triple M listeners' point of view.
Oh yeah, fucking what am I going to do on a Thursday night now, mate?
There was some gold. There was this dude, he was full locker. He's like, look, listen, mate. If you think there's any winning greyhound out there that hasn't had a live kill, you're fucking dreaming. And they left it. They left it like that. You're fucking dreaming. And they were like, really? He's like, yeah. To run at that pace, they've got to have a live kill. And I was like, whoa, I didn't know that. And apparently it's rife. Like you can't properly train a greyhound to race at that level without them thinking they're going to kill something that's alive. I'm talking out my ass. This is just what people at Talkback Triple M wouldn't. Okay, so I was willing to go casino, Mike. I'll give you kudos on this one. And as soon as I posted it on Facebook, this seems like a good idea. Fuck. I had a mate fucking instantly shut me down. He's like, the motherfucker wants to turn Wentworth Park into apartments. It's the only reason he's doing it.
I think that was me, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't actually. No. And I was like, really? Oh, fuck, I didn't even think of that.
That was
angle.
the first thing that went into my head.
Yeah, right.
I was watching that press conference when he said it, and he's like, look, and I believed him. You got to take people when they say shit. And he's like, look, we're not going to develop this. This is for community use. All of these areas are going to become for community use, whether that be sporting parks or open areas or whatever. He's like, I guarantee you that these will be handed over to some trust or something that will look after it. So
well, there you go. Well, if he goes back on that, he'll be fucked.
Yeah. But I wholeheartedly agree. There's got to be some agenda. These people don't do this shit because they think, it's the right thing to do. It's a nice thing for them to come out in a press conference and say. But if you honestly think that that's the underlying reason why they're doing it, you're naive as fuck.
You can imagine something. All the developers' ears pricking up when they heard about it.
There is something.
Yeah. And it was weird because there was that. I don't know if I missed it, but it didn't seem like there was any public debate about this being a problem and we need to address. It seemed, was it some inquiry that they came out of that, that's what I read, that after some special inquiry, we've seen so much corruption that we just had to shut that shit down. And some of the people that were calling in on that Triple M thing were greyhound fucking trainers, and they were saying fucking they got no notice of it. Like they found out like a week out that
it's harsh, man. Like it's harsh. Like there's no doubt that the fucking dogs have been mistreated. Like you read the report and it's by like a independent dude, yada yada. It's obvious that the industry's dodgy. And it probably is the right call to close it down.
Do you know anybody that bets on the dogs or goes to see the dogs race?
I used to.
Sees them race?
Yeah. I've tried betting on the dogs twice. Yeah. And I've been to the dogs once. And
really?
It was one of the worst nights of my fucking life.
Really? Where is it? Was it
Park?
The one that's been shut down?
Yeah,
right.
They're all shut down. I just worry about Dapto, man.
Dapto?
What's it going to have going for it now?
They have a big...
Oh, that's right, with the dude from the footy show.
The old school.
He had that fucking dog on the footy show that ran at Dapto.
Really?
Remember the dude with the lisp?
No.
Fatty Borden.
No. It's like some fucking Manly dude. He played with Fatty. And there was some fucking... And he wore like a gold jacket. It was like some fucking yearly event. And he had big balls or some shit. I forget his name. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
I'm embarrassed. I'm so up in my rugby league. Not
Dapto dogs, huh? No.
I've been told it's like horse racing, then trots, and then below trots is dog racing.
In Dapto.
The overall. Like, if you're going out to the fucking races, like your top shelf is, like Melbourne Cup. Next one's
thoroughbreds.
like Canterbury Park on a Wednesday night or something. Yeah. And then it's, the trots at something.
Man, don't diss the trots.
I know people go nuts for the fucking trots,
don't diss the trots.
We lived across the road at the old Harold Park venue that's only recently shut down a few years ago.
Yeah, right.
That was great. We'd go there for a Friday night. They'd have this special. They'd give you 10 tickets for $10 and you get a beer with a ticket and drink a lot very cheaply. So you get heaps of students and young people. And we were across the road.
I think that's why people like trots. Just because it's...
We could see the race from our front yard, put a few bets on, then go back home and have a few on the veranda. And it's a great old time.
Jeez. Well, there you go. Casino Mike shut it down. I didn't know that he had that statement where he pretty much promised that he wouldn't do apartments.
But what's community use? You never know. That might be for a developer to come in and develop something for community use.
Isn't there a little school part of that park?
Don't know. Been fucking forever since I've
been
there.
But there's they're going to challenge it and stuff. And like you said, there's all these trainers and people that have done the right thing and they're honestly passionate about dog racing. I don't know why, but they are. And they're all going to be fucked over. There's no doubt about this. Yeah. And as soon as he said it, I was like, holy fuck, man, that's a big call.
Well, it's a lot of money as well.
I got
it's an industry that he's shutting
the
down.
That they make it's a bit of it's a big decision when you think
fucking
about
oath it is. It's a ballsy decision. Whether or not he's going to get away with it's another matter.
Yeah.
But it sounds like if you have a look at that report and what they were going through, it was like, man, it sounds dodgy as fuck. It sounds dodgy as fuck. And they're like, look, there's no chance of them rehabilitating themselves. So the easier option is just to shut it down.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, well, full on, man.
Well, I haven't... I'm sure it's a big part of it, but I haven't read too much into the corruption part of it. I just read a bit of the animal mistreatment angle of it, and there was reports of fucking them finding properties where dogs have been trained where there's piles of burnt skeletons and fucking dodgy footage coming out and fucking
a lot of them would go down pretty regularly, I think, just with injuries and they're going pretty fucking fast, those animals.
Oh man, they go fucking
they're Barney
full clip, hey, it's
and if they fell over, it'd be easy to break one of those thin legs they've got.
Bloody oath, yeah. But
I imagine what
I've heard, and again I'm talking out my ass, but it's it's apparently a thing with most racing animals. It can be a tendency to have to breed in the qualities you want, which sometimes means culling animals that don't have that trait, and that's there was that fucking whole Michael Vick thing in the States where he was fucking trying to get fighting dogs, and he was fucking killing all the dogs that weren't fighting and shit, and
but wouldn't they want to keep them out of love and compassion? That Simpsons episode. Lady,
you're all right. But I probably reacted a bit quickly when I read the news because I was like, good, but there's a lot of fucking livelihoods at stake and whole industries, I guess, and as you say, people that have been let's say working within the rules and paying their taxes and thinking they've got an established business, and then all of a sudden fucking which seems to be the way that this premier fucking operates. Is
it's pretty harsh, but it's true. It's like the majority of the people in your industry are fucking dodgy.
But they
look
didn't
at
even
them.
attempt
They're
to-
the reason why we have to do this. It's not really our fault that we have to shut you down. It's not even your fault. It's these other dodgy fucks.
They could have offered an alternative, you know. It's like they could have come with a campaign like from dogs to frogs and just recommend them racing frogs every Friday night in the local pub. Dapto frogs.
Dapto frogs. I'd fucking
Point
go
it. Let's
watch
do
that.
it. That's a business opportunity.
Let's go.
Done. I'll get the web domain.
You're right, going
tonight.
to Dapto every Friday night. I like Dapto, don't get me wrong, viewers.
Fucking
Dapto, the fuck. No, Dapto's fucking
Salacious-
ages away.
Salacious
isn't it?
played their first ever gig at Dapto.
At
Was it a
Dapto.
Dapto, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Was
Guy Greenstone's 21st
was that the first Salacious show?
ever.
Yeah, right. I remember I was at that party. Spent a lot of it outside looking at the sky, I remember. But
Yeah, right, on your back, were you?
I remember I found this like weird like campfire bit that had been used as a campfire, but there's no fire burning there, and there's just these logs around this like makeshift campfire, and I just sat down and I just looked up at the sky and just started seeing some pretty crazy shit. And I remember I was outside like just looking at the sky for like a couple of hours, and it wasn't until like my core temperature was like full dropped that I was like, oh, I better fucking go warm up a bit. Yeah, but I can't even remember you guys playing. Maybe I was outside when you guys
I think it
played.
might have been. Looking at UFOs or whatever you saw out there.
I was commanding the clouds with my mind. It was pretty mad. Did you have anything else on your list there?
No, not really. No, I was going to talk about what have I got here? Oh, have you heard of this is funny. Can we do a bit of crypto?
Yeah, go.
Crypto corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
I stumbled on this. I was actually looking at this Bigfoot thing
Right.
online, and I stumbled across this possibly relatively new phenomenon called Dogman,
Dogman, right.
and it's basically a wolf's head or a dog's head
Right.
on a sort of canine / hominid body.
Wait,
And hundreds of people are stepping forward saying they've seen the Dogman.
wait. A dog's head on a what body? On a canine body?
Sometimes people say it's like a slight canine crossed with a hominid body,
What does that mean? Hominid?
like ape or human,
Right.
You know, sort of a cross between.
I thought you were like pulling my leg there, like the Simpsons joke. Like it's a Esquilax with the body of a rabbit and the head of a rabbit. Okay, so does it walk on its hind legs upright?
It does. It can, and it walks on its.
So
I
it's
don't
kind
know,
of like
it's got
hunched.
long arms, and it's a werewolf basically,
Right.
by all accounts.
And a
So-
dog man.
This is adding a lot of credence to the Bigfoot community as well.
Which part of the world are these being spotted?
Mainly America, I think.
Right.
No, of
right.
course.
I don't know too much about it, to be honest with you. I don't know if there are any full moons involved,
Well,
but I just thought it was worthy of a bit of a new crypto species that may be out there for all you crypto hunters.
look, I would not. I don't know if those sightings are real. I think there are still possible parts of this planet though that have undiscovered species. I was listening to a podcast where it's not that long ago that we found out about the great apes in like the mountain apes.
Yeah, 1910 or something.
Yeah, it's like within last century. And like to think that there was a creature like that big undiscovered with our civilization as advanced as it gotten by then. Now, yeah, we've encroached a lot further into a lot of the natural habitat of the world, but there's still big swaths of areas that I think could hold
Oh, no doubt. I'm not sure. I
unseen
think we would have
creatures.
We would have found a Bigfoot by now.
I reckon
think,
I reckon we would have. I reckon that
but we find at least one ape per year or monkey per year.
like a species
On average, a
of
new
monkey.
species,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But it's not like that one's like got 4 heads It's just a different species of something that we're quite
right.
familiar with the shape and general.
Yeah. Although there was a big one a couple of years ago with that giant chimp. Have you heard of that?
No.
It's like a 6-foot chimp.
Fuck.
It's like more of a gorilla's body, but a chimp face.
Yeah, right.
And they're really big. Yeah, they've been rumoured to be in the Congo for quite a number of years, and they finally confirmed
Full
it.
on.
Yeah.
And then do these still exist?
Sounds a bit scary. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah,
Full
they're in
on.
there. Yeah.
See, that's crazy.
They're in there. Yeah, the big chimpanzees.
What I think is an area that we have no fucking idea, and we could find some seriously fucked up shit, is in the oceans. I think that it's entirely possible down in like the deep depths of the ocean that we barely have explored. There could be some like kraken shit or something. I don't know.
Kraken.
Release the kraken.
Did you hear about that the tag they had on the great white shark? They tagged this shark.
Yeah. No, I haven't heard about this.
And they found the tag washed up on shore like days or weeks later, and they checked out the info on it, and it had been swimming along, and it had suddenly taken this massive dive, and the temperature changed, which indicated it was inside something,
Right. Oh, what?
and got taken down deep.
Oh.
And then somehow the tag came back up and washed up on a beach not far from where it was tagged in California or San Diego.
Full on.
Fucking carnage.
That's
But
pretty crazy.
There's a bit of skepticism about it. I was reading.
I saw
right.
some drone footage.
But it sounded good.
Like, it was probably about 20 dolphins, and it was going after a shark. They were all going after a shark, and the shark was trying to get away.
The dolphins were.
The dolphins, and they were going at this shark, like 5 at a time, like, "Rrr," with like teeth and shit, and it was like a drone above it, following it. And it was like, oh, fuck, that's pretty fucking carnage.
Wow.
But it was like, if there was another shark came along, then they'd probably be able to, yeah, see you later, dolphins. But yeah, like, yeah, there must be stuff that can fucking either scare off a shark or kill a shark. It'd have to be something like kill a whale. What about a whale or something like that? If a whale
Kill
came up
whales
to a
could,
shape,
surely.
what about a regular whale just fucking doing a big fucking jump, lands on your shark, fucking see you, mate. What about that fucking monkey in the zoo? That fucking the kid that fell in?
Kid with the
That was
silverback.
fucking carnage.
Yeah.
Did that kid die?
No, the gorilla did.
Oh, that's right. They
shot the
shot
gorilla,
the
dude.
gorilla.
Shot it in the face, apparently.
Ooh.
Or it copped a few shots, but it was like a couple of shots in the head.
I did see some footage of that with like ragdolling the kid, and I
Yeah.
was like, oh, man, that's fucked up.
Yeah, look, at that point, you got to kill it. You got to. There's a lot of people that say, "Oh, look, it was trying to protect the
Oh,
kid."
wasn't it? It was fucking ragdolling it through a sewer.
Well, I think it's more that's how a gorilla can actually handle a baby gorilla. But when a gorilla handles a young human that way, it's fucked up. But like the footage that I saw where it was like, you know, rushing around, and it basically had the kid by the wrist. That's how it acts with a fucking baby gorilla.
Yeah.
And a baby gorilla can handle it. Like,
Yeah.
baby gorillas are strong as fuck.
Really? Really?
What?
I mean, I've got no opinion either way. I don't.
You don't think that the
I'll just
gorilla
let
was
my Facebook memes do the talking?
You don't think the gorilla was protecting? Look, either way, it doesn't fucking matter. At that point, what are you going to do? Are you going to try and fucking ride it out? Nah. Because that fucking gorilla can turn on a dime.
There'd be an uproar if they didn't shoot it and it seriously
Oh,
hurt or
fuck
killed the
yeah.
kid.
And there's cameras on it at that point. There's fucking a million cunts filming it. And all of a sudden, the fucking, you know, the fucking, maybe we should just wait this out. It looks like it's being protective. And then all of a sudden, you hear, "Whee!" The fucking monkey screeches and just peels the face off the kid in front of everyone filming it. You know?
That reminds me of
Then
the
where's your
Eastern
fucking, oh, maybe we should wait. Then Mr. Shotgun to the face is the hero. So at that point, yeah, it's, for me, it's like, how did that fucking kid get in there? And I watched this YouTube fucking response from another gorilla, like, enclosure person, right, at another zoo. What?
Another gorilla enclosure person.
Gep.
They
Hashtag gorilla enclosure
They
person.
worked with silverbacks in an enclosure in another zoo, and they were like, "Oh, fucking! This is why we shouldn't blame the gorilla." And they were actually pro shooting the gorilla.
But didn't a couple of gorillas not go in when they got called? Apparently, they all went in except him and one or two others.
Yeah, right. I don't know.
So that might have also been a factor.
Right.
I think I remember hearing that. I'll
Yeah.
have to check my.
But how did that fucking kid end up in that fucking enclosure? And that's what one of the points that this
Don't go
other
there.
enclosure person was making is like, I blame the fact that the public demand unfettered access view-wise to these animals, and we're building enclosures that aren't secure enough. I'm like, really? Even if it wasn't secure enough, what are you doing as a parent letting your kid get that fucking far in? Like, it must have been climbing up and like, gorilla funk falls in, and then you're all like, shoot it. I'm like, well, fucking how about you fucking just be a good parent?
It's not always that cut and dry.
I
man.
know.
They get away from you.
I'm viewing from afar here, and I've got a very, judgmental
But yeah, there's a good
look on
chance.
it. But goddamn, like, don't let your kid fall
He
in.
was inquisitive.
I know. And you cannot look at a kid for fucking 2 seconds.
Gorillas,
That's
man. Who
fucking
doesn't want to jump in there? Well,
It's all fucking like a big fucking cuddly bear.
Nah. You don't want that shit. The fucking the strength of that fucking animal would just be like, you could just like de-limb if it wanted to, like, and that's one of the points that the pro, like, let it live, let's ride it out, let's see if it gives the kid back. Like, how does this end exactly? Like, we wait like a cartoon for them to fucking Z's coming out of their mouth, and the tiptoeing in fucking zookeeper comes in and fucking takes the kid back. So shh.
And then he wakes up and he's like, "Oh!"
like how is it going to end? It's not going to end well. Like,
I remember that German kid though that fell in a few years ago, 10 or 20 years ago, and the gorilla was patting him and.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Did they kill that gorilla?
No. He looked after.
I remember that footage. I think even that gorilla got.
No, and then he left him alone and I went away and they came and grabbed him and shit.
Okay. What about there's footage of a dude that the article I read said that he actually committed suicide. He wanted to commit suicide by tiger, and he was one of the handlers of these fucking.
Not that Chilean guy recently.
Is
With
it
the lions? He stripped naked and said he was the son of God or
What?
something
Was that
along
the
those
same
lines,
dude?
and crawled into the enclosure.
And there's is that. No,
What
I think
the
that's different. That's
fuck?
a full maned lion, isn't it? And it ends up fucking chomping him on the
There's
fucking
two of
shoulder
them.
and
There's a
drags
lioness.
like fucking just like runs with this dude fucking.
I haven't seen that.
It's fucked up. There's this other one where it's this dude in this like proper fucking like zoo fucking uniform, and he just goes in there and he just kind of like has his hands in like this, and he just kind of like is just sitting next to the tiger, and the tiger's like, and just swipes this dude, and he's just down from the swipe, like, and then the tiger's like, the footage ends there, but apparently the tiger's just like eat the dude, and it was like he wanted to suicide by tiger.
Oh,
What a way to go! Jesus,
fucking Jesus.
Nice.
that's pretty crazy. Well, should we call it?
Right.
It was a good, pretty good length. What have we done? About an hour or so?
Yeah,
Late night session.
Yeah, man, you got to get up
Hour and
early.
a half.
Fucking
Jesus.
well, thanks for joining us, Jezza. And yeah, we'll have to do another episode soon. Come
Thanks,
back
boys.
around.
We'll do another one in the daylight hours when we're a bit more perky.
Yeah, totally. Good idea. All right, thanks, bro.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Thanks for tuning in.
Comments, likes, yada yada.
Yeah, we'll out.